All right. So, welcome to Consular Conversations. I am Shauna, and today I'm joined by the lovely Elizabeth and the handsome Daniel. So, today's program, we will cover information about K1 fiancé visas. We cannot answer specific questions about your individual case or application in a public forum. You are entitled to privacy about your own situation. For any questions that cannot answer, please feel free to direct everyone, to the Embassy Kingston website, which is jm.usembassy.gov or travel.state.gov for individual questions. But if you have general questions, generic questions, go ahead and type them in the comments. Elizabeth.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Like Shauna mentioned, we're going to be talking about K-fiancé visas today. So this is a particular type of visa that is for U.S. citizens to apply for their Jamaican or non-U.S. citizen loved one, their beau, to travel to the United States and get married. Once you're in the United States, you'll apply to adjust status and become a permanent resident.
Yeah, that's correct. So once you're legally married in the United States, you're required to adjust your status to USCIS. And once you are approved, then you're a green card holder.
Yeah, and so one special part of this visa is also the fact that the non-U.S. citizen is able to bring their minor children with them as well. So minor children, we consider minors to be under 21 years of age, and they should still be unmarried themselves. And also, they don't have to be children shared between the applicant here in Jamaica and the U.S. citizen petitioner in the States. They can be kids from a previous relationship as well.
Yeah, that's correct. And one of the first steps regarding the petition is filing it through USCIS, and that petition is called the I-129 form. And included in the documentation would be proof of relationship. So, for example, your call logs, your chat logs, pictures that you have, anything that you can show to say, hey, a relationship exists here.
Yeah, and so once that petition is approved by USCIS, they send us the documents here at the embassy and we schedule your interview. And so to prepare for that interview, you'll want to gather the required documentation, which includes your birth certificate, the birth certificate of any of the children you're going to be bringing with you, police certificates. Police certificates should be ready for everybody above 16 years of age. So if you are bringing your kids with you and they happen to be 16, 17, 18, they'll need a police certificate as well. And then if you were ever married in the past, that's okay, but we need to see also the divorce decree, or if you were a widower, a death certificate too.
Yeah, that's correct. And once the visa is approved, the visa holder can travel to the United States to be married to the U.S. citizen, right? And they will need to travel to the U.S. before the expiration of the visa, though, which is usually contingent on the expiration of the medical. So you need to bear that in mind to ensure that you're in the US before the visa expires. So ensure you take a look at the printed visa in the passport. And once you're in the US, upon arrival, you have 90 days. You have to be married within 90 days. So be very careful about that, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good to remember that 90-day mark is really essential. And just a reminder, it doesn't have to be a big wedding with 200 of your closest family and friends. What matters is you've taken care of that step legally. You could just go to City Hall or your state authority in the United States and have a reception at a later date. But also, when you're in the United States and you've adjusted your status after being legally married, you're going to get a green card that's good for 2 years. It's called a conditional green card. It's really important to remember also after that 2 years to apply to USCIS to remove the conditions and get a full 10-year green card.
Yes, and one last point here that we want to drive home. Please ensure that you're not a victim of visa fraud, guys. So pay attention to your partner. Ensure that they're not trying to rush the relationship. Ensure that they're not saying, hey, let's live separately once I get into the United States, right? So ensure that you know who you intend to marry. Yeah.
All right, so we actually do have some questions. Clark wants to know, what was the name of the form that you mentioned? They just want you to clarify that probably a little slower.
Yeah, so that form is called Form I-129. That is the petition that you'll file with USCIS and present with that the evidence of your relationship, photos of you together, chat and call logs, pictures of you traveling together, or hotel receipts listing both of your names, things like that.
Okay. We have another question here. Sandra wants to know, how does she go about a fiance visa if their whole relationship was online?
Okay, so regarding that, in this day and age, we know with technology, persons tend to meet online through various platforms, and that's great. If you're able to show evidence of a relationship actually existing, even if it's online, it's good. But one thing that is important is that you have to show evidence that you met at least once within the last 2 years, right? So that's very important. Of course, there are exemptions. For example, culturally, if you're not required to, or if you're not supposed to meet the husband or the wife prior to marriage, or the fiance prior to marriage, in that cultural context, there are exceptions, but generally, you need to see each other at least once within the last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Matthew wants to know, previously married and wants to know if he can use his K visa to marry a new partner.
Yes, absolutely. So, things change. Relationships end for all sorts of reasons. It is totally okay to have previously been married in the past, even if you were married in the United States and are back in Jamaica. It's just important that for any previous marriage, you show the termination, whether that was a divorce decree or if you were a widow or a widower, the death certificate of your previous spouse. And then just a reminder that for any documents from here in Jamaica or for any other country that's not the US, so the Caymans, Barbados, Bahamas, those need to be the original. So typically on a divorce decree, we like to see the original issued by the Supreme Court with like a raised seal to show that that was the official one. If it's a document from the United States, a photocopy is totally fine.
Another question, just to clarify on that one. Let's say they're married in Jamaica, but they're trying to get married in the US as well. How would you guys want to classify that? Is that fraud? What is going on with that situation?
Do you want to take it or me?
You can take it.
Yeah, okay. So that's a good question. If it's the same person, so let's say, you were married here in Jamaica, you got married, on the beach, wonderful, but you want to go have a larger wedding in the United States with more friends and family, that's not what a K visa is for. So if you're already legally married to a U.S. citizen, you would want your U.S. citizen spouse to apply for a CR1 or an IR1 spousal visa. You're still going to be able to go to the United States and become a green card holder, provided all your documents are in order. But the K visa is for folks that are not yet legally married. And we consider a marriage in Jamaica or a marriage anywhere else as that's a true marriage. You can't be married in two countries. Yeah.
Excellent. We actually have some questions from Facebook. Susan wants to know, my I-29 will expire soon and we have not attended our K-1 interview. Do I need to email the embassy and ask for an extension?
Yes. So generally, once the petition is approved by USCIS, it expires within 4 months or after 4 months. However, once the petition is here at consulate, you have the option of emailing us, letting us know, providing reason, and we have the option of extending the expiration of the validity of the petition. So yes, we can extend it, Susan.
Okay. Daniel wants to know, he wants to find a job as soon as he gets to the US. Is that visa a work permit too?
A good question and a common misconception. So if you're going into the United States on a K visa, you're not able to start working right away. So your steps would be to go to the US, be married to your partner, become spouses legally, and apply to adjust that status in the United States. As soon as you get word from USCIS that adjustment of status is complete, even better, once you have your green card in hand, that's when you're going to be able to find a job and begin working in the United States.
Okay. Streets from X is asking, I entered the US on a K1 fiancé visa and I did not get married within the 90 days. What are my changes of keeping or chances of keeping my K1 status?
Okay, so unfortunately, you would be out of status, so you'll be required to leave the United States. So I'd recommend that you return to your country or you may face deportation. So yes.
And that's the same if they go up and decide they don't want to get married again.
It's the same thing. Yes.
All right. Let's see. Tony from Facebook. My K1 petition is taking too long to be approved. So my girlfriend and I got married. Is my K1 petition still valid? Slow down, Tony.
So unfortunately not, Tony. Congratulations on your marriage. That's a wonderful step that you and your partner have taken, but it's a different kind of petition now before you go to the United States. So you should have your U.S. citizen spouse file a new petition called the I-130 for a spousal visa. So like I mentioned, that's a CR1. So it's for spouses of U.S. citizens. Now, the good news, Tony, is that when you get to the United States on that spousal visa, you're a green card holder right away. You don't have to adjust status and you're able to start working right away. So that's the big difference between already being married, getting a spousal visa, and not yet being married to go up on a K fiancé visa.
Okay. We have Adrian wants to know, I know you're talking about K visas, but are you able to say how long it normally takes for a green card holder to file for a child over 21?
All right, regarding that, it depends. It depends on the visa category. Normally, once you file the petition to USCIS, you're required to check the visa bulletin to know when that visa category becomes current, right? And normally when it is current, you would either get a notification, normally via email from us at Consulate if the case is here, or from the National Visa Center once it's sent over to the National Visa Center from USCIS regarding that petition. So it varies, the time varies. We're unable to give you a specific time frame, unfortunately.
I figure, but hopefully that answers your question, Adrian. And going into, I saw someone with another question that Anne is asking. She said all her children are under 21, but from a previous marriage, and wants to know if the fiance is not their father. Can they use that K1 visa too?
Yeah, great question, Anne. And the answer is yes. So as long as they are the biological or legally adopted children of the applicant here in Jamaica, they're able to be included on this visa application. This is another big difference than the spousal visa as well, actually. It's a good benefit of the K visa. If your kids are under 21 and are not married themselves, you can include them with the petition to go to the United States on the K visa. And they can be from a previous marriage, previous relationship as well. They don't have to be shared together between the U.S. citizen and the Jamaican applicant.
Clark asking, after submitting your petition for the K1 visa, how long does the entire process take before the visa is issued? Like a time frame of how long?
Okay, so regarding, great question, by the way. There isn't a specific time frame because it really and truly depends on, because you have to submit documents, you have to do your interview, you have to do your medical. So all of that is taken into consideration prior to the issuing of the visa. And normally once you do your medical, it lasts for 6 months. And so the aim is to ensure that you are able to enter the US before the expiration of that medical. So if you're able to get everything in order regarding the documentation, regarding completing your medicals, police card, all of that, then we'll do our best in ensuring that you get the visa issued as soon as possible. Yes.
Brian from X wants to know, recently married, do they need to submit a divorce decree or just the most recent one? So I'm guessing it's multiple.
Yeah, so if you were previously married multiple times, we do need to see all of the previous divorce decrees. Yep.
Okay. And then we have Janet from Instagram. My K1 visa expired before I was able to travel. Can I still travel on it?
Unfortunately, no, Janet. You're unable to travel on an expired. Yes, you're unable to travel on an expired visa. It has to be valid. Possibly, I would recommend that you reach out to us as soon as possible. Shoot us an email. We'll schedule it to come in. You will possibly have to redo a medical, and we would have to reissue the visa. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Dino from IG. Is my fiance allowed to come to the interview with me?
Okay, so
little company. You don't want to do it
Moral
alone.
support, of course.
Can she come?
I understand.
Maybe she speaks better. I don't know.
All right, so generally, no, we don't recommend our petitioners to come in for the interview. Yes, we don't recommend. There are certain exceptions though, like if you're accompanying a minor or if you're accompanying the elderly or someone who's disabled, then sure. But generally, no. Outside of that, we don't recommend that you come in with the Jamaican applicants.
So no, Dino, unless you're a minor or disabled, you gotta do this walk alone. You can do it. You can do it.
But they could always, drop you off at the embassy, pick you up when you're all done.
Wait for you.
And it's always good to mention to the officer in the interview that, my fiance is just outside, doing the moral support for the interview. Yep. That's a great piece in favor of your relationship.
That's a good alternative. Healthy alternative. Sharon from Facebook. My fiance and I had a baby recently. However, my interview is scheduled for September 30th at the embassy. Can we add our baby to the case?
Now that's a really good question, actually. So if your baby was born of you, the Jamaican applicant, and a U.S. citizen father, there is a chance that your baby can claim U.S. citizenship through the father. There are certain requirements for what's called transmitting U.S. citizenship from U.S. citizen dad to the baby. But typically, if the father has spent more than 5 years of his life in the United States before the baby was born, that baby is also a U.S. citizen. So I would actually recommend, if you have questions about a baby born here in Jamaica with a U.S. citizen father, you send an email to the American Citizen Services Unit, and we can talk about getting that baby recognized as a U.S. citizen and getting a U.S. passport right from birth.
All right. Yeah. So we have a question, a little lengthy, bear with me, from Jumbo. I was told by my friend, for a K1 visa, I can get additional vaccine when I enter the U.S. Is this true? I guess, yeah. That's part one.
Okay, all right. So this is all about the medical, Jumbo. So yes, it is true that you may get some of the vaccines in the U.S. However, it is important that the medical be initiated here in Jamaica through our authorized panel physician, right? And there are some vaccines that you're required to take here, and then the others may be taken overseas. But the panel physician will be the best person to inform you of the vaccinations that you need to take here and the options that you have in the US. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask the next question because it actually came up during the Social Security visit that's going on. Marsha from Facebook is asking, my fiance died before I could attend my K1 visa interview. Should I still attend my interview?
Okay. Our condolences, first of all, Marsha, regarding that. And yes, it is recommended that you still attend the interview. I would recommend that you also bring along the death certificate with you when you're coming in, and then the interviewing officer will advise you on the options available to you.
Okay. Sharon, my fiance and I had a baby recently. We already answered Sharon. That's a repeat. Sorry. Terry from X. I have an upcoming business trip in September to the US. Can I travel to the US while my K1 visa is pending?
An interesting question, definitely, Terry.
And Sharon's coming, Terry's coming back.
Terry's coming back, yes. So two options for you. If you already have a B1, B2 visitor visa that's valid, you can still definitely travel on that back and forth if you have business in the States to come back to Jamaica. If this is still before your K visa interview and before it's been issued as a K visa by the officers here. However, if you already have been issued your K visa, you've got it in your passport, we generally don't recommend that you travel back and forth on your K visa because it's really important that you adjust your status after your legal marriage within 90 days of entrance to the United States. Because actually that K visa has what's called only one entry. Oh. A B1, B2 has multiple entries. You can take many, many trips over the course of the validity of that visa. But K visas, you're only going to be able to get in on that one time because the intention is to get in, to get married and adjust status and wait for that final green card to come in. Once the green card is in hand, you're more than welcome to travel back and forth to Jamaica in the US. But a reminder that you do have an obligation to spend at least 6 months out of the year in the United States as a legal permanent resident green card holder.
Got you. I hope that helps you, Terry. Shantae, what if I just got my green card and I'm still able to file? Am I still able to file for a K1 visa for my fiance? Just got a green card, still able to file?
Regrettably, no, Shanti. You're unable to file a K1 petition because those are only applicable to U.S. citizen. So once you have served your time in the U.S. as a green card holder, remind me, Elizabeth.
Typically 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, typically 5 years.
Okay, great. So after 5 years of being a green card holder, you apply for your U.S. citizenship, and once you're a U.S. citizen, then you can gladly go ahead and file for that fiancé. Yeah.
Or you can be married in Jamaica, and then you can, as a green card holder, file for your legal spouse, but you do have to get the marriage done. So one of two options.
Okay. Yeah. So I have Big D from Facebook. Big D, not the little D. Big D from Facebook. Do K1 applicants still require the certificate of non-impingement?
Okay, so great news. No, you're no longer required to provide that document. But what we do recommend is that if you have any previous marriages, we recommend that you take those divorce decrees in. And it's not just the most recent one. So if you have more,
but they want to know, do they need to do another medical once they enter the U.S.?
Okay, so it depends. It depends on when you try to adjust your status. The interviewing officer regarding you getting your green card, they'll let you know whether or not a new medical is required. So a number of factors are taken into consideration, and the interviewing officer at that time will be the best person to advise you if a new medical is required or not.
All right. So if they have, let's say, personal questions that they want answered that they're not able, because I saw someone asking a question about filing for someone and missed the appointment and biometrics, how can they go about getting in touch to get that question answered?
Okay. So any personal questions that you may have regarding your petition, you may send us an email at kingstoniv@state.gov. We have a new email system in place here where you're required to use a particular code in the subject line. So for example, you may use M99 in the subject line, and then you may pose your question in the body of the email, and then we will promptly reply or respond.
That email address one more, because you know they probably weren't even writing it down or listening. So one more time with just the email address.
Definitely. So it's kingstoniv@state.gov. Yeah.
All right. And Elizabeth, I'm going to ask you, if they have, let's say, they want more information, they want to start the process. What are some good websites they can go to get more